All right, what's going on, everybody? I go by the name of Jamrock. Thank you so much for tuning into my YouTube channel, man. I appreciate all the supporters. Most of you guys who are new to my page, this is a channel where we kind of talk about things concerning law enforcement, some of the introductory processes of how to get into law enforcement. I think this is very important to kind of get the different opinions and different, I want to say, lanes of how to get to law enforcement, right? And we're going to get right into it in a little bit. And for those of you who have been on the channel for a little bit, my subscribers, everybody who's been there for a little bit, you guys know me as the instructive part of my channel where I talk about the CJBAT, which is the Criminal Justice Basic Abilities Test, which is the preliminary exam used to get into law enforcement. So if you guys haven't seen that portion of my channel, go and check that out. It's probably the first video that I ever posted on this channel. It has probably well over 20,000, actually 28,000 views. And I want to say maybe 200 plus comments or something like that. So you could go in, check it out. It's like a forum, it's an open forum. You could talk to different people. And a lot of people have some really good feedback. So it's not just about my information, but it's about the information that the community provides. All right. So look, man, we got a special guest, man. This is the interview portion of my channel. And I think this is very well needed. And this is well suited for this channel because, for one, a lot of y'all don't know, but this is my very first zone partner, right, that I've ever had in law enforcement. That's super important for me. You know what I mean? This is the guy that taught me all the fundamentals that I know now in terms of being a proactive officer, right? So this is Officer Will, right? And I want to give a quick introductory. First of all, Officer Will been in law enforcement a little under 5 years, right? Check this out. I can't give all the full resume, right? I can't. There's too much, but I'll say this.
Too much.
Field training officer, right? Florida general instructor. For those of you who are watching from other different states, we are based out of Florida, right? Firearm instructor, right? There's more. Duty to intervene certification, right? Officer involved shooting certification. Right, these are credentials. I'm going. There's still some more. SWAT. We're gonna talk a little bit more about that. You know what I mean? And defensive tactics trainer, right? And he does hold a bachelor's of science degree in criminal justice, right? Just to name a little bit of his credentials and what he really brings to the table. And I think that's super important. We're in a day and age where we need these certifications and we need these credentials in order for us to do the job at a proficient level. So y'all, Jamrock channel, help me welcome in Officer Will, man. Appreciate you coming to the channel for real, man. You know what I mean? So let's get right into it, bro. I've known you for some years. You have been a zone partner, grew into a family friend of mine. You know what I mean? And that's really cool and unique to our story. You know what I'm saying? Tell me really quickly, why did you decide to do law enforcement?
Oof, man, it's stemming from like when I was in Jamaica.
Okay.
When I was like a little kid playing.
Jamaica.
Yeah.
First of all, shout out to all of the Jamaican names. Don't know the things said. Mandeville, big up yourself. Kingston, big up yourself.
St. Mary, big up yourself. You know what I say? Watch us. Don't know all in places, you know?
That's dope. So we share the same, obviously, ethnicity, culture. Of Jamaicans. So Jamaicans, again, big up on yourself and I don't know. Yeah.
Real,
so
real.
St. Mary's.
Yeah. So you taking back from when I was small, we were playing like cops and robbers, and I used to be one of them
cops
good
and
guys.
robbers.
Yeah, used to be always be one of them good guys. Used to
you
play
was the one with the little stick.
With the sticks and all
that.
Like,
right.
Yeah, with little sticks and all that. So I just grew into it. I don't have any family members that's like law enforcement.
So. Okay, so you don't have any family members that are prior law enforcement or anything like that. Gotcha.
So I just grew into it, you know. Back then in Jamaica, we didn't see a lot of police like that because they used to be so far away and stuff like that. So I didn't get to interact with them and stuff like that.
So was there anything? So now, around which age is this?
Shoot, when I was like small and all that, probably like around, I'm gonna say, give and take 6, 7.
So 6, 7. Okay, so around 6, 7. So now, as you progress, did you like still keep that dream? Did you ever wander towards something else, another career? So now, like I'm talking like maybe 10, 11, 12. Because now you're getting into
I was mostly in cars and all that.
Okay.
When I came to America, I used to go back and forth. Car life. Yeah, I used to go back and forth from here to Jamaica. So I didn't have that grown up
Gotcha.
life where I could say, okay, I'm more focusing on like career in law enforcement. It was more like, okay, a touch and go, touch of this in law enforcement, touch of cars, and
so talk about that for a little bit,
that.
because that's interesting that you said that. So what was your childhood like then, since you were kind of moving from there to there? Like, what was your childhood like?
I mean, it was rough. You know, it was real rough because imagine you going to school up here and learning and adapt to the situation up here, and then go back to Jamaica, and it's a different type of learning skills and everything like that. So me doing that so often is like a cycle for me. You know what I'm saying? So I never grew up. I never had a good childhood life growing up.
Got you.
Back and forth, back and forth, back.
Would you say like a lack of like stability?
Yeah, I would say that.
And so so with that, so obviously you're facing adversities and some challenges there, because especially we work in the field, we work in the community, we see the challenges that our young people go through, right? And they wander, right? They go from left to right, or whatever the case is, and they don't really have a stability. What kind of kept you on track then, if your childhood was so difficult and faced with adversity?
I'm gonna say a mindset, man. That go a long way.
Talk about the mindset.
Yeah, mindset, because you know, growing up, it's like people don't care.
Okay.
So you have that mindset like, okay, should I be bad? Should I be good? You know what I'm saying? So you kind of like separate yourself from that. Like, what do you see yourself like in years to come and stuff like that? Meaning that you transition from here to there and all that stuff like that. So for me, it was like, you know, it's like a mindset.
So and I want you to elaborate that on that a little bit more too, because talk about the temptations of I want to say the neighborhood that you grew up in. You know what I mean? A lot of us come from marginalized communities. You know what I mean? Difficult communities, the hood, basically, to keep it 100. And what were some of the temptations, and like how did you avoid that? Right? How did you avoid that?
Man, I avoided a lot because, you know, I was in New York at one point.
Okay, so you in New York?
We used to have like a lot of games.
NY, shout out to NY real quick.
NY all day, man. I've been in New York, man.
Yeah, okay.
All day, you know. Yeah. And used to have a lot of gang members, but I don't know. I was the type of person like I isolate myself away from stuff like that, because I know that's not how I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And I look back and I'm like, damn, what would my aunt say if I was to ever be in a bad company and everything like that? Right. So I always think about that, because we in Jamaica used to get a lot of whoopings, man.
Yeah. Our parents was not playing those games.
Yeah, you know, not playing that game. So I was like, okay, I gotta isolate myself away from that.
Sure.
Get away from that environment.
From that culture and that environment, right.
And after that, man, once I get myself away from that, I start focus on me. To start focused on my future and career.
So now at this point, now let's say 15, 16, right? Now you're approaching, you're in the mid-teens, but you're approaching adulthood. Are you still having the dream of, I want to do law enforcement at this point?
At that point, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
I was mostly in the car because I used to go to the school where they had trade. They never used to have law enforcement.
You into cars like that?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I was there like a mechanic. So I just went into the trade because, you know, it was easy for me, because I'm like, damn, I like working, you know what I'm saying, on cars and stuff like that. I like to get down and get dirty, work on turbos and stuff like that. So it kind of like derailed me from law enforcement, go into working on cars and stuff like that. It was easy for me to do.
So at that age, did you have any kind of encounter with law enforcement? In other words, was obviously law enforcement was prevalent in the neighborhoods that we grew up in, right? Yeah. Not saying too much, but did you have any encounters with law enforcement, and was it positive? Was it negative? What was that energy like at that age?
I mean, when I get pulled over.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what about that? Like, what was that encounter like? You know what I mean?
It was a positive one.
Okay.
It was a positive one. It wasn't too bad. You know what I'm saying?
And there's a reason why I asked that question, but go ahead.
Yeah, it was nothing bad. It was more like, hey, you know, you gotta watch your speed and how you're driving.
Got you. Like and at that point, or any part of that interaction influenced you even more or intrigued you more into the career at all?
Most likely, like, for instance, like, I would see them blocking off roads and stuff like that. I was wondering, like,
something about the blue lights.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Something about lights. I'd be like, okay, like, what are they doing right there? You know what I'm saying? Why are they standing so long right there? I'm trying to get by and blocking the road and all that. So I was kind of like tuned into it. I'm like,
okay,
I really want to, you know what I'm saying, see what that's all about.
Got you.
You know? And ever since then, it just drew me into it. and stuff
So
like
you're
that.
into it. So now we're 18, 19, 20.
Yeah.
You're almost at the eligibility point of law enforcement. Are you now honing in on the dream? Is this still a pinnacle for you at that age?
Yes, he was. You know what I'm saying?
What were you doing at that age? 19,
at that
18,
age,
19, 20?
I ain't gonna tell a lie. I ain't gonna sit up here on the front. But when I was like 17, I got kicked out of the house when I was 17 because back then it's like Jamaican family. I'm gonna tell you straight off.
As soon as you said that, I'm like,
it's like Jamaican family. They believe in like, okay, if you get to a point where it's like 17, 18, whatever, you gotta get out of the house and go look a job. So I wasn't that person that stay in the house and kind of like beat the books and all that stuff like that.
Right.
I was more like reach that age. Hey man, you gotta go.
You gotta go work. So you were working at that age.
Yeah. So I was working at that age. I was working at a nursing home.
Okay. All right.
I was doing everything. I was doing like cooking, bringing up food to like the patient and stuff like that, and mopping floor and all that. So I was doing
ain't nothing wrong with a hard earning living. Yeah. Right before you get into law enforcement, I'm seeing a trend where people are just wanting to go straight out of high school in some states, and or straight out of not having any lived experience and wanting to do law enforcement, which is that's a-okay for some people, but for some people, would you agree that having some kind of lived experience does contribute to I want to say a greater professionalism in a job, or maybe taking a job a little bit more serious in terms of law enforcement? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, 100.
So now you're doing this job, obviously, and do you feel like, all right, now it's time to kind of chase the dream?
Yep, because while I was doing that, I was working security as well too. I was working unarmed and armed security.
Okay, nice.
So that kind of like let me get some experience. Okay, with firearms and stuff like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Meeting great people. And it just drew me more into it. Yeah. So while I was working, I was still doing my degree. I was doing my associate degree.
Let's go.
And I remember shout out to my stepmom. You know what I'm saying? She been there from A1.
Yes.
When I got kicked out, I went over there to go. You know what I'm saying? To go live and everything like that. And it's kind of like pushed me. You know what I'm saying? Towards that direction.
Wow.
So I remember one time. I was inside a room and I was just working on my associate degree, you know what I'm saying, in criminal justice, and I was just working and stuff like that. So my thing to people like that, like I never get to graduate high school. I ain't gonna tell a lie. I'm not gonna front. You know what I'm saying? But I never stopped there.
Right. You kept pushing.
I kept pushing. And for people that is out of school and think that they can't go back, you could go on Penn Foster and get a high school diploma. It's accreditation.
All right.
I never knew about that.
Look at that. Quick plug.
Yeah. Right. I never knew about that. So I was able to, send my transcript over there to look at it, evaluate everything like that. I only had to take like a couple classes and I was done within 2 months.
Wow.
I'm like,
wow.
I got the diploma? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like,
wow.
Oh my God. Wow. And after that, once I got that, then I was able to like, you know what? I'm gonna go for my bachelor's degree. So I do my associate degree. So I do my high school diploma, my associate degree, and bachelor's degree from Penn Foster, you know what I'm saying? So shout out to Penn Foster, man. That's a really good school, man.
Adversity after adversity after adversity. My boy was displaced, man. Homeless. Let's call it that, bro. Right? And then Auntie looked out. You know what I mean? He held on, to that dream. He was locked into the room doing what he needed to do. That's key right there, because again, there's this trend that no one is supposed to face any kind of adversities, any challenges, any conflicts, or whatever the case is, and then thinking, the lack thereof is transferable into the career of law enforcement. If you ask me, that's not transferable anywhere. You need some level of lived experience. I'm not saying you got to go through that, but when you're going through, sometimes it's not that it's never gonna happen, but you got to go through something, right? You can't skip over. You need to go through, and that's what I'm hearing you're saying. You just kind of pressed through the adversities and the challenges. So now you're getting ready to embark on the law enforcement journey. Talk to me about the CJBAT, man, the Criminal Justice Basic Abilities Test. Clearly that was the first thing you had to do.
Yeah, first time taking that, I didn't know nothing about it. Like, I was clueless, you know what I'm saying? I was clueless about it. And then, I went inside the room and I looked at him, like, oh my gosh, all these questions, bro. Like I'm not a good with tester. Okay, but you know what I'm saying?
I'm a good test taker.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it. Let's get by whatever the situation is. So I was there and I was just going through the answers and all that questions and stuff like that. And actually, I failed it. I ain't gonna cap.
Okay,
ain't gonna cap.
That's all right.
I failed it.
Hey, how many of y'all on my channel, right? If you go back to the CJBAT test, you'll see it, man. People are saying, yo, Jamrock, I failed it the first time, but I went back again. And I passed it. Hey, Jamrock, I failed it the first time. I just wanted to get familiar with it, and I went back and I crushed it, right? Yeah. So it's okay. You know what I'm saying? So you failed it the first time, you jump back again.
Yeah, I failed the first time, and then, you know, they give you that graph.
They give you the graph to kind of tell you your weak points.
Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, okay, so where's the study guide I need to study so I can, you know what I'm saying, be better in that area, whatever.
What did you use?
They gave me, I forgot what website they used, but it was so long ago. They gave me a website to learn on. So I'm just there just taking practice. I'm like, I'm doing good. Right. I feel confident in taking it now. Right. I went in everything like that, and I failed by 2 points. I was like, my God, come on, bro.
And by the way, they don't do the graphs anymore, or like the specific percentages of if you passed or failed. What they do now is pass or fail.
Yeah.
Period. You know what I'm saying? They don't do the graph thing or whatever the case is anymore. But that was a good time because back then you would have been able to see your weak points
and all
and
that
see,
stuff
2 points. I was talking about 2. I missed this. You know, whatever.
I think they should bring that back because at least they know your weakness and all that. Cause
State of Florida,
you know what I'm saying? Like if you put pass or fail, you don't know what's your weakness. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I'm studying something that I already know already.
What do y'all think? I mean, drop a comment. You know, let me know what do you guys think they should bring that back. Would you guys like to see the graph, the percentages of if you know how much you failed or how much you passed or whatever the case is? Again, now it's just pass or fail. You know. So now tell me about let me tell you something. The physical agility test. I don't even know why I'm asking him this because this is the guy that you want for your 94. This is the guy that you want to show up as your backup officer. Really? I'm talking about he is the example. He is the pillar of what it means to be physically fit in the job. I've physically seen this with my own eyes, man. This is the dude that you want to chase. He's the one chasing the bad guy about 4 blocks. And you exhausted by the first block. You're like, he's still going, hopping over fences, going on the next block, turning around. You know what I mean? The chopper can't keep up with him. Nobody, you know what I mean? So we used to call him the cheetah, not the cheater, the cheetah.
Yeah, don't get it twisted,
man. Stop playing. But you know what I mean? In terms of physical fitness, he's the guy, he's the guru when it comes to that stuff. So how was the PAT, the physical agility test for you? So when you did that?
So after I passed, CJBAT, finally, they were like, okay, you know, now you gotta take the PAT. So I'm like, what's that? You know what I'm saying? So like, okay, this is I think they give me like a paper and like steps and stuff like that we need to take and all that. And then I went on the field and I looked at it. I'm like, man, it's gonna be cake. You know what I'm saying?
Easy.
Yeah, it's gonna be easy. And the reason why I say that because I've been working out and stuff like get my body ready, and you know what I'm saying. I'm into fitness. I love fitness. You know? Right. So when I look at it, I'm like, okay, I can do it.
Right. So talk about that for a quick second. Like, for those that are about to do the physical agilities test, what is the preparedness? What's the best practice for preparedness to do and to complete a physical?
I'm gonna say running.
Okay, so cardio. Boom. Free chicken.
Free chicken, man.
I'm saying so cardio.
I'm gonna say what can I say? Get your mind right overall. Mind right overall and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Try to work
Don't psych yourself out.
Right? Try to get work out at least like 30 minutes a day. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Push-ups, sit-ups.
When you say running, how long are we running for? Are we running for a mile and a half, 2 miles?
I run probably sometimes I run like half a mile. And
half a mile. Okay.
I walk.
See?
And then I'll do it again.
Jog and go again.
Then I'll do it again and stuff like that. Because you're getting your body accustomed to it, ready for it and stuff like that. Because you don't want to do 1 mile. You're going to die.
I believe the course is still 6 minutes. I believe it's 6 minutes that you have to complete the entire course in. 6 minutes is a lot of time, y'all.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, 6 minutes is a lot of time. You know, I've heard people finishing this obstacle course in like 3 minutes, 3.5, 4 minutes.
My time was actually about 3 minutes.
See, that's insane, bro.
And I was just blown through it. The only thing that really got me is the dummy.
The dummy drag.
The dummy drag.
That's
the only thing that got me.
Do you remember the weight of the dummy drag? It was 150?
Like 150, 160, give and take.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. And well, you have to do it in a certain way, right? So imagine like, I don't know, your partner, whatever situation is. Imagine if your partner is down and stuff like that, you need to drag your partner.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What is a super weight for dragging? You know what I'm saying? Right. So most of the time I would put their hand like this and I would go from underneath their arm and I would put my hand like this.
Gotcha.
And I would just drag backwards and stuff like that. That's the way that I do it. I see most people doing it the other way and work out for them, but for me, it's more like
that's how you did it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Work out.
So physical agility test is done. The CJBAT test is done. Now you're eligible to go ahead and apply for a law enforcement agency, right? What are some of the things that you looked out for when it comes to applying to a police agency?
Just make sure that they sponsor. If they sponsor, you need to take advantage of that.
Key. So talk about that. So there's sponsorship and there's non-sponsorship. Yes. What's the difference?
So with me when I was joining it first, I paid out of pocket, and that's pretty.
Yeah,
that costs money.
Yeah.
So imagine you doing it part time and then still have to go to work and stuff like that.
Right. That's a lot.
That's a lot, especially if you have kids and stuff like that. It's kind of a lot. You know, so you have to be basically in charge of buying books, clothes and everything like that. So you're still at school trying to get pay bills and stuff like that. So that's a non-sponsorship. But if you're a sponsor, what they would do is you will still go through the whole process, the polygraph, the psych, the background, and then once that's done, then you left up to the chief to like sign off on it to see if you
right. So you see that, guys. Like that. So if you are looking to get into law enforcement, there are agencies out there that will sponsor you through the police academy. They're paying you right as you would if you were employed by them, which you are. But just to go to school, your only job at this point for 6 months is to go to school, right? And they're paying you a check every 2 weeks.
Yeah, every 2 weeks. Yeah,
full benefits and everything like that, right? So it would work in your favor, especially if you're an adult. Now you're working and you're wanting a transition. That's what it's for. For those that may not be able to get a sponsorship for whatever reason, or you just have the funds and you kind of want to go on your own time. Maybe the benefits at your current job is just better and you have the flexibility to go to the academy out of your pocket, then that might work for you too, right? So, but that's just options, right? So now, so tell me now, you're a rookie officer at this agency. You finally made it. You've had this dream. You kind of, surpassed so many adversities and conflicts. You're a rookie officer. What is your first month like, bro? Hold on. First of all,
first day.
Let me, and I say that because I really want to get into I want to say the highs and lows of this job, especially when you just start. Talk to me about your first week then. Like, let's not give them too much. Man. I can't even give them the whole month. What's your first week like, man?
The first day.
Yeah.
You talking about in FTO or were you by yourself?
Okay, there's two different ones. All right, there really is two different beasts. There's two different beasts.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me about your first day.
All right, my first day doing the FTO program. I was excited. You know what I'm saying? I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I was kind of like trying to play catch up to like what I'm gonna do really.
Right.
So the first day, disturbance, what a situation. We went there and I seen some things. I seen people yelling. I'm like, oh my God.
Right. Like, so your first call was a disturbance.
It was a disturbance. First call
was
a disturbance. So imagine people yelling, going back and forth. You just there like, damn, what should I do?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? People like they grown. I'm talking about they in their 40s and stuff like that, and you like in your 20s. How you gonna tell somebody, hey man, listen here, calm down. They look at you like, what you talking to? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You talking to? So it's like you gotta earn that.
Okay. Right. So you're so how would you conclude your first, like, I want to say your first month on FTO? What was that like? What were some of the challenges that you've been through going with your FTO as well? And FTO is the field training portion of law enforcement. When you just get in and you're riding with somebody and you're in their car, you're doing what they say while they're training you, right? So like, what is that like? What were some of the challenges that you gone through in that month?
You did not paying attention. They stop on the break. Where we at? Where we at? Where are we?
Right. You know, so you have to have some kind of geographical knowledge. If you don't, man, that's gonna be hard for you.
It's gonna be hard for you.
Yeah,
and that's one of the most important things in law enforcement. People that know that, like officers that don't know their geographic.
Right. Like know where they're at. Right, like north, that, south, east, west,
and all that.
Right. These are the things that you have to know during.
Yeah, because I never knew that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Until I got in law enforcement, now I start to know like east, west, south, and everything like that. Because going in, you be like, okay, well, what I do? So,
and what was the thing that kind of I want to say helped you to get by training, like, you know, being in the car with someone else, being trained, being told what to do, and still having to do some things on your own? Like, what allowed you to surpass that whole phase?
Pay attention. I'm gonna say paying attention. You know what I'm saying? Paying attention to where you at. Pay attention to the radios and stuff like that. Because when you're in somebody's car, like, you got so much stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You gotta listen to him. You gotta listen to the radio. You gotta look at your laptop. Your phone is ringing. Their phone is ringing. So you gotta multitask.
And what was tell me what was the moment that you feel like you got it? There's always this moment in training. Everybody has it. Where you're like, I think I got it now. Like, I think I'm it.
Shoot, I'm gonna say definitely not the first day.
So not the first day, but there's a moment in training.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
it could be your fourth phase.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think it was like my fourth phase and stuff like that.
Tell me about that moment. Like, you're like, it could be you driving and you're like, hold on, I think I got this.
Most people that learn just by doing it.
Okay.
I was that type of person. Okay. Like, I like to drive so I can know where I'm at when I'm driving, because I gotta pay attention on the road when I'm driving.
Let me drop this in real quick, right? So when I was working with Officer Will, right? He was my zone partner, right? He was driving this Tahoe, right? Huge Tahoe, and as you can see, we're probably around the same height. Maybe I'm a little taller. I'm a little taller, right? Yo, I want to go check out his Tahoe because it was really nice, right? I didn't get my assigned vehicle yet, and first of all, car smell good, clean, right? Keep your office clean.
Yeah, keep that.
And
clean.
His seat was so far back. I was like, what? Yo, what in the world, bro? Why is your seat so far back? I'm talking about my boy's seat was back here, bro.
Yeah, man.
And I'm talking about, I believe it was like a 2016, 2017 Tahoe, right? Yeah, they're huge, right? Big huge. Boys. And I'm like, yo, the seat is like way back here, bro. And I'm like, bro, why is your seat? Now, is that like tactical? What is that, bro? You were behind the B pillar for sure.
I was behind the B pillar. You ain't gonna see me. I have people.
You can't see him. I'm serious.
You can't.
Unless you're like, yo, I'm telling you, unless you're like, there's like direct light shining in the windshield, you're not seeing me. My boy's like right here.
You're not seeing me. You're not seeing me.
Why do you do that?
It's an officer safety thing.
Okay.
I don't know if people do it, but for me, that's just me.
Okay, so now I do it. Yeah. I do it. It don't matter like what car I'm driving. I promise you right now, you go out there to my patrol car, you open the car, you're going to see my seats way back here. Because it's something, I just adopted it from him because on one hand, I saw some of the benefits, correct me if I'm wrong. For one, you're behind a B pillar. If someone really is looking at you in traffic, they can't see you. They don't know where you're at. Mm-hmm. You could have your weapon pointed this way. They won't even see it.
No,
if rounds let off, at the end of the day, your body is going to be protected by that B pillar. Not that it's completely structurally protected from any rounds, right? But for the most part, you're pretty good behind it. They ain't
good behind it.
By the time they start pointing, rounds already let off.
Rounds already run off. You know what
I
mean? I'll be at traffic lights, and I'll be sitting there like this.
Yeah.
And people looking like.
They're like, what's going on?
What's going on? Is someone in there?
Listen, our Jamaican culture, that's a ring stem off already.
Ring stem off, you know what
done. You know what I mean? So is that's the reason why you do it?
Yeah, that's the reason why I do it.
Okay, so talk to me now about, so now you're off FTO, you're done with training, you know what I mean? You got your foot in the door. You're in law enforcement, man. At this point, you're done. Tell me about first day, rookie. Like first day, you're in your zone. This is your beat. They want you to patrol this area. This is all yours, right? Talk to me about that. Like, how are you feeling? Are you nervous?
Shoot, man. One thing I gotta say, man, even though you're by yourself, you're still not on probation. So don't try to like mess that up.
Free
you know
chicken.
What I'm saying?
Yep. If you're on probation, obviously most agencies, they're going to give you the probationary period, whether it's 90 days or less, right? You're on probation, so you have to be mindful in the way that you operate, correct?
Yeah.
So what was that like? Rookie Officer Will.
Man, first call I received, man, was a fight.
Oh man,
juvenile too.
Man. Oh so, man,
I'm multiple like, individuals. I know they're calling me. I'm like, I'm answering. I'm like, they need me at XYZ. So I'm like, all right, I'm coming. Right. So when I got there now, I stand up like, hey, what am I supposed to do? Like, I didn't know what they do.
Wow.
What I'm saying? There were other officers there, you know what I'm saying, doing their thing, whatever the situation is. But you, as your zone is like, what to do?
What do you do?
I never done this call like this. You know what I'm saying?
What do you do? Right.
So they're standing up, like they're standing up. You know what I'm saying? There's on my shoulder, and somebody was like, officer was like, hey, Officer Will, hey, put this person behind in the back of your car or whatever. So obviously, you know, I search and whatever.
Right.
In the back of the car, transport them to the station. So I'm like, what the hell? I still don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at my passenger side seat for my FTO, like, hey, what to do? But you ain't there, so you know what I'm saying? I'm stuck. Right. I'm stuck. So you know what I'm saying? So when I officer, you know what I'm saying, trying to show ropes and everything like that, that's when I'm like, oh, that's how you do it.
So you see that? So there's a pattern there, right? Each call that you go to, especially in your rookie stages, it's going to be necessary as you go to the next call and the next call that are similar. You're gonna basically take the same skills, transfer it over to the next call, and you start to get the feel. You start to get the feel of it. Now, we worked at the same place at one point, and for lack of a better word, it was busy.
Yeah,
that's all I'm gonna say.
Ooh, that B word, busy. That B word. Oh, like they don't say that B word.
Maybe I should say it was jumping. It was jumping, right? You know what I mean? How do you manage, right? Whether it's after the shift, but how do you assess and manage such a high volatile area that you patrol? Like it's busy. How do you manage? It could be your mental health or just your ability to perform at a high level. How do you manage that? Like, what are you doing to do that?
Well, like I said, fitness is one of my things. So I used to get off of work and I would hit the gym.
Your outlet?
For like an hour and a half, whatever. You know, pump out that steam out of me. Get it out of me and everything like that. Because you don't want to bring that home to your family,
of course
kids,
not.
And stuff like that. So you want to, you know what I'm saying? You want to go there and dump, enjoy and dump on the weight and everything like that. I love cars. So car was like one of my outlets too. Yeah, that was my thing, man. I used to love cars. Still got love cars to this day. So I use those as a type of coping mechanism.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't be stressing out and psychotic and stuff like that.
Right. That's important, guys.
That's really important.
That's such a serious part of especially this conversation, because our jobs has such a demand on our ability to perform at a high level. I mean, they're expecting our communities, for lack of a better word, is also expecting us to be excellent, right? Let's be honest here, right? And it's stressful because now we're basically we have the freedom or the ability, to take away a life and someone's freedom at any time, right? Based on the circumstances, right? That's challenging, man. And then you're going to operate, you're doing this stuff, you're going call up the call, then you got to come home and be normal. Do we see anything normal out there? We don't see nothing normal. It ain't normal. What's normal? Like we've been to some calls, man. Like, you know what I mean? We've seen people lose their lives. Like we've literally watched people lose their lives, right? And then we got to come home, and then we got to operate and function in normality, right? So that's super challenging, man. At any point in your career, have you ever felt like, man, why am I doing this? Like did I choose the right career?
There's moment of time where
and how do you overcome that thinking? Gym. So outlet.
Outlet.
Find your outlet. It could be
Outlet,
music.
outlet.
It could be movies. It could be whatever just kind of gets you out. It could be church, right? It could be, and in that element of church, praise and worship, listening to certain music or whatever to kind of, get your mind in a comforted state. Therapy, right? We're in that stage where that has been useful, helpful for a lot of people to do that. And ain't nothing wrong with that, especially as an officer. You know what I mean? You want to go out there with a healthy mindset. You know what I mean? So now at this point, man, you're a rookie. You've seen some things, you've been to some calls, you're starting to grow your experience. Tell me real quick, like, why did you decide to get so many credentials? Like, I'm like lost for words with the amount of credentials that you have, because you're an FCO, you're a general instructor, you're all these things. Like, why'd you do that? What's the purpose of that?
I'm big in training.
Okay.
I love training. Okay. I love to be tactical. You know what I'm saying? Tactical sound.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, how can I give back?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be a number. I want to contribute and give back to other officers as well as other people as well too. Not just only law enforcement. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that was my way. That was my outlet to, you know what I'm saying, to go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I got myself involved in the certification, firearm instructor techniques, help out with DT as well too, and stuff like that. FTO program with other officers, because certain things that you normally see with different agencies, like, why? Yeah. You ask that question, you know what I'm saying? You don't want that to trickle down in your department.
Of course. Right.
So you kind of like, I try to teach them the way that I was taught back then and stuff like that.
Right. So, and it's also career enhancing too as well. Like I mean, future chief over here. Can we say that? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Just for the fact that he'll have the ability to speak to so many different categories of law enforcement, so many different elements. You have a guy like this seated at the table, and he's able to contribute so many different new ideas, new concepts, right? Because he's been in so many different fields. What does it take for someone to become an officer today?
Courage.
What are we looking for?
Courage, heart. You gotta have a heart. You gotta have a heart for it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have no heart, then
what do you mean a heart? Because like people think, so somebody watching right now, they think they got heart.
Like
what is that? What are you looking for?
They say law enforcement is for everybody, but not everybody's into law enforcement.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Your heart have to be in law enforcement in order to be a law enforcement.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You have to. I wouldn't have to say like be like somebody. You know what I'm saying? But you have to kind of like know certain things that people are going through. Like, you have to relate, basically.
Relatability.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
so
key.
When I go on calls and stuff like that, and I see people like going through evictions and getting the kids taken away and stuff like that.
Right.
I've never been through where I get my kids taken away.
Right. But you understand.
I understand.
Or you can give some sympathy.
Exactly.
Right. Or empathy towards that person.
You know what I'm saying?
You know
you can't take that feeling and ball it up and stuff like that. And in the corner all by yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I like talking to people. I like to educate them on certain things that like what's really going on. Because most people, they see DC, they're like, oh, nah, DC are going to take my kids. No, it's not all about that. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes it's a resource
exactly to help you. Okay, your daycare, what daycare this kid's going to, trying to help you out, not someone taking your kids. You know what I'm saying?
No.
But most people think that when we call them, it's stuff like that.
Right. So communication, empathy, relatability, right? That's key. That's super important. And having a heart, right? Yeah. Having a heart or some tenacity to win, I think is important. Here's why I say that, because I know him personally, so he has this propensity to win. Like his whole concept is winning. Like, I'm going to win. I'm going to supersede whatever your expectations are for me. I'm going to supersede it. So if you think he could run like a 4.5, he'll probably end up running a 4.3. He's that kind of guy, right? And everybody don't have that concept or that idea, but it's just important to just have some, again, ambition about this career, like constantly seeking, learning. Right. What I hear from him is that he's teachable, he's coachable. Right. Even after having everything, right, he's still going after so many right? And he's humble about it, right?
Very
he's
humble,
right?
Yeah,
Operating in the sense of humility, how important is that for law enforcement? Because we see a lot of guys, they're SWAT, they're this, they're that, you know, they feel nice, you know what I mean? Like, but I wouldn't be able to tell, right? I wouldn't be able to tell.
Because I don't show it off.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I come in, I get a job done, and I move on.
Right.
That's me, that humbleness in me. You never know. Some people don't even know that I'm a police officer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
That's key.
You have to like know me, get to know me.
Yeah.
To do that. And I also just bring up a key point with a firearm instructor. Like, I normally take my guys, like people that's on my shift, and we'll go to like range, and you know what I'm saying? We train.
Wow, training.
Like that, training. So I use my SWAT experience and what knowledge that they teach me,
you
teach it on the road too.
Oh,
exactly, because you the only SWAT
each
member.
One teach one.
Exactly, you're the only SWAT member. Right. On the shift.
Right.
And everybody depending on you. So why not take a little piece of that knowledge and give it to them? Like, hey, listen here, when we go to this building, we're gonna do X, Y, Z,
and equip them.
And equip them so they know what you're thinking and know how you're moving.
Right.
Versus you don't have nothing and then you stuck by yourself.
So if you're on a squad, you're on your future squad, and you have something that's transferable, teach your peers. It's only gonna make your squad better. Can you imagine if your entire squad is equipped tactically?
Yep.
Right. So they might not be in SWAT, but they have the SWAT mindset. Can you imagine? Ain't nobody can't mess with them.
Nah.
Nobody can't play with y'all at that point, right?
Nope.
So man, so even before we wrap things up, what are some? Give me like a life lesson that's important to you that you want to share. It doesn't even have to be law enforcement related, but I just feel like, again, your life, and people rarely know anything about your pivot to law enforcement or to your success now. But I feel like you have a very good wisdom about life. Can you share a quick wisdom or something to somebody that's encouraging, you know what I mean, that would help them to either chase their dreams here in law enforcement or in general? Like, because you have a really good lived experience. Right?
Yeah.
What do you want to tell the folks, man?
Well, I'm gonna say, first of all, never give up on yourself.
Right.
Never give up hope, your dream, inspiration. Never give up on that. You know, take it from me, man. I've been there and I've done everything, man. I still was like stable. I still was focused on everything I need to focus on. You know what I'm saying? No matter how many doors close on me, one door gonna be open. You know what I'm saying? And I take that as advantage. And I tell anybody this, man, don't give up.
Don't give up, man.
Don't give up. Don't give up. Yeah, no matter how the road is rocky, man, you could fail the exam 20 times, and that 21 time you might get it. You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
And that was me, man. I'm always on the winning
side, bro. Always on the winning side.
I'm always humble. Always humble. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's just me.
Man.
So
I appreciate that.
It ain't taking from this, that humbleness, man.
Real quick, anybody you want to shout out? Anybody at all? Anybody that you want to send some love to? Any? You know what I'm saying?
Man, shout out people that know me. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to people that's like, you know what I'm saying, see my pain, see my struggle, kind of like help me out the way and stuff like that, talk to me and all that. Shout out to all the officers that been there for me and stuff like that. Shout out to my family that been there. Jamaica, big up yourself one more time. One more time. Why?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? But shout out to all the people there, man. They know me. They see the struggle. So I ain't really gotta know what I'm saying, elaborate on that. They know the struggle.
Yeah, man. And
just keep on pushing. That's all I do, man. Just keep on pushing 100.
Yo, friend of the show, man, Officer Will, I appreciate you one more time. You already know, man. It's all love, man. Hey, this was great, man. This was really good. I appreciate you for doing this. And hey, guys, again, look out for some more, because we're gonna have him come back. Because I want to take you guys to the range. I want you guys to kind of see what he's talking about in terms of the tactical responsibility that you must have in law enforcement. And just to kind of, for him to show you the instructive side of being a firearms instructor. I'd love for him to kind of break some things down. Maybe even talk about the off-duty weapons and some of the importance of doing that. Right. Yeah. So again, appreciate you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
You already know, man. Jamrock. Yeah, hey, if you guys haven't already, subscribe, please. Leave a comment. Tell us your thoughts on things. Tell me what you want to see. All that stuff. Right? It does help out with the channel and all that good stuff. Yeah. I am gonna be coming out with some merch, man. Nothing too crazy, but I got the Jamrock drip, man. You know what I'm talking about?
Nothing too crazy.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? Nothing too crazy. But it's just something, you can work out in it. Wear it under your uniform, whatever you want to do. Just walk around the house with it, whatever you want to do, man. But anyways, man, appreciate y'all. Jamrock, we're out. Peace.